Scam, scam, scam. In today's world, what we hear more frequently is scams. Nobody can even know who they believe, and faithfully doing what they say is a scam. Do you know any scams? Yeah, but of course you might be aware of scams in food and the banking and funding sector, but were you aware of scams in the car industry? Might not be. Inside this video, we are going to give you a clear picture of scams in the car industry. Greed is a widespread phenomenon in business that has existed from time immemorial. Unfortunately, the car dealership business has not been spared from this avarice. Car dealers have been accused of unethical practices such as overcharging clients, selling damaged vehicles, and withholding vital information about the vehicles they sell over the years. This greed has had shocking effects on both clients and the industry as a whole. Overcharging customers. Overcharging consumers is a frequent practice in the automobile dealership industry, where salesmen may use various techniques to extract as much money as possible from customers. However, this greed has had disastrous consequences for both customers and dealerships. The US Department of Justice fined many major vehicle dealerships for overcharging clients in 2015, resulting in penalties totaling millions of dollars. As a result, overcharged customers incurred financial losses, while dealerships suffered a loss of reputation and confidence. Furthermore, overcharging customers can result in legal consequences, such as class action lawsuits and regulatory investigations. It may even result in criminal charges for fraud in some situations. Overcharging clients can have far-reaching effects on the economy as a whole. In addition, it can contribute to inequality by exacerbating wealth disparities and limiting access to affordable transportation for low-income individuals. Financing tricks. Car sellers have been known to utilize financing gimmicks to increase profits, but these strategies can have unexpected implications for naive buyers. One such repercussion occurred in the early 2000s, when subprime vehicle loans were promoted to persons with bad credit. Car salespeople would market these loans at excessive interest rates to buyers, frequently forcing them into vehicles they couldn't afford. These loans were then packaged and marketed as securities to investors, expecting the high interest rates to cover the default risk. However, when the housing market crashed in 2008, many of these buyers defaulted on their loans, causing a financial system-wide ripple effect. As a result, the subprime auto loan market collapsed, and investors who had bought into these securities suffered massive losses. Meanwhile, many buyers were left with repossessed cars and damaged credit scores. The following financial crisis had far-reaching consequences, with millions losing their jobs and homes. This serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unscrupulous financing practices and the need for responsible lending practices to protect consumers and the whole economy. Selling faulty cars. Some car dealerships' practice of selling faulty vehicles for profit has resulted in shocking consequences. These malfunctioning vehicles can endanger the lives of drivers and passengers and cause fatal accidents. Unfortunately, in some circumstances, the flaws may not be immediately obvious and may go undetected until a catastrophic incident occurs. The consequences of selling defective cars were especially shocking in the early 2000s, when several car manufacturers were embroiled in faulty parts scandals. The Ford Firestone incident, in which faulty tires supplied by Firestone caused over 200 deaths and hundreds of injuries, was one of the most high-profile examples. Ford was accused of ignoring warning signs about the faulty tires in order to maintain a business relationship with Firestone. The scandal led to significant changes in how car manufacturers and dealerships are regulated, with increased scrutiny on safety standards and recalls. However, the greed of some car dealerships and manufacturers continues to put customers' lives at risk. Consumers need to research and ensure they are purchasing a safe and reliable vehicle. Regulators need to enforce strict safety standards and hold companies accountable for their actions. Unethical sales practices. Car dealerships' unethical sales practices have long been a concern in the industry, and in some cases, these practices have resulted in horrific repercussions. For example, in the early 2000s, a number of vehicle dealerships engaged in predatory lending practices, targeting low-income consumers with subprime loans they couldn't afford. These dealerships frequently charged high borrowing rates and sold cars at inflated costs, trapping clients in a cycle of debt and default. These practices resulted in car repossessions and destroyed clients' credit scores in many situations. The consequences of these practices were dire for many families, who lost their only means of transportation and often faced additional financial hardships. The fallout was so severe that it led to a national conversation about predatory lending practices and resulted in increased regulation and oversight of the auto industry. False bills or padding. In recent years, there have been several cases of car dealerships issuing false bills to customers in order to inflate their prices and boost profits. This practice, known as padding, has led to shocking consequences for both customers and dealerships. One high-profile case occurred in 2018 when a major car dealership in California was sued by the state's attorney general for allegedly engaging in widespread padding. According to the lawsuit, the dealership added thousands of dollars in bogus charges to customers' bills, such as inflated sales tax and registration fees. As a result, some customers ended up paying more than double the sticker price for their vehicles. The consequences of such practices can be severe for both customers and dealerships. Customers who discover that they have been charged false bills may feel angry and betrayed, and may be more likely to take legal action against the dealership. In addition, dealerships that engage in padding may face significant legal and financial penalties, as well as damage to their reputation and customer base. Concealing important information. Car dealers also conceal important information about the cars they sell. This includes information about the car's history, such as whether it has been in accidents, had major repairs, or has a salvage title. Car dealers may also conceal information about the car's features or condition, such as whether it has been repainted or has any other cosmetic issues. This lack of transparency is unfair to the customer because they cannot decide about the car they buy. In the early 2000s, car dealerships aggressively promoted and sold SUVs that were popular among consumers due to their spacious interiors and perceived safety features. However, it was later revealed that many of these vehicles had serious design flaws that made them prone to rolling over in certain situations. Despite being aware of these risks, some car dealerships conceal this information from their customers to maximize their profits. They continue to promote and sell these vehicles without disclosing the potential dangers, putting countless lives at risk. The consequences of this greed were shocking. Numerous incidents of SUVs rolling over and causing serious injuries or fatalities led to massive recalls and lawsuits against car manufacturers. Families who had lost loved ones or were dealing with severe injuries as a result of these accidents felt betrayed by the car dealerships, who had put their profits before the safety of their customers. This scandal highlighted the importance of transparency in business and the need for regulations to protect consumers from such practices. It also served as a reminder that greed can have devastating consequences for individuals and society as a whole. Shocking consequences. The consequences of car dealerships' greed has been shocking. Many customers have been left with financial losses because they were overcharged for cars or sold faulty cars. Some customers have even been injured or killed because they were sold cars with mechanical problems or that had been involved in accidents. The reputation of the car dealership industry has also been tarnished because of the unethical practices. Customers are now more wary when buying cars from dealerships, and many prefer to buy from private sellers or online. Solutions. The car dealerships industry needs to take steps to address the issue of greed and unethical practices. One solution is for the industry to adopt a code of ethics that promotes transparency and fair dealing. The code should require dealerships to disclose all relevant information about the cars they sell, including their history and condition. The industry should also train dealerships on ethical practices and establish mechanisms for monitoring compliance. Another solution is for the government to regulate the car dealership industry more closely. For example, the government can enact laws that require dealerships to provide full disclosure about the cars they sell, prohibit overcharging customers, and establish penalties for dealerships that engage in unethical practices. The government can also establish a regulatory body that oversees the industry and ensures compliance with ethical standards. In conclusion, the greed of car dealerships has led to shocking consequences for customers and the industry. Overcharging customers, selling faulty cars, and concealing important information are all unethical practices that need to be addressed. The car dealership industry needs to adopt a code of ethics that promotes transparency and fair dealing. And the government needs to regulate the industry more closely to ensure compliance. By taking these steps, the car dealership industry can restore its reputation and regain the trust of customers. So these are some of the scams. You should be aware of this kind of scam. If you found this video useful, then don't forget to like and share. And also subscribe to the channel for more informative videos like this one.